Let me see you drop.
Oh, yeah, here we go. A very special episode because it's Collision Day. It's Mr. Young in the house.
And it's foreign in the building, bro. Pre-recorded, but we are just live right after AEW Collision, bro.
Absolutely. We are fresh
Yeah.
off a brand new era, perhaps, for AEW. And maybe, judging by the smile on my face and the smile on your face, maybe a fresh new direction for AEW.
Can I just say one thing, bro? Only one person, right, can make me subscribe back to my Fight TV account, bro.
Ayo. Hey, let me guess. His song kind of goes. Wow, that was terrible tunage. Look in my eyes. I'll just say the words. What do you see?
Yeah, he is the cult of personality, indeed, bro. Just to give some context, bro, I deleted my Fight TV membership, right?
Right.
And I've been a Fight TV follower, like a subscriber for like the entire AEW run from the moment 2019 first happened, all the way until probably somewhere in like late last December.
Okay.
And I literally stopped, not because I'm a CM Punk fan and I was like protesting or whatnot. I tried to continue watching the product, but I just didn't feel it was worth me subscribing.
Yeah.
And it's $12.99, bro. $12.99.
I know. It's quite a fair.
It wasn't worth it.
Yeah, it was a fair chunk of change. And I did the same. I think I gave up on it earlier than you did because, reasons. But the same applies, right? And so, okay, the question is, though, did it live up? And I guess the bigger question moving forward is, will it continue to live up to, what we expect from CM Punk or from professional wrestling as a whole?
Yeah, but I think first things first, regardless of how we got there, regardless of how AEW Collision came to be, whether it's supposed to be the CM Punk show, whether Warner said like, oh, you need him on the show, blah, blah, blah. If we were to look at it objectively from today's episode, like I feel that this has the potential to be the best wrestling show going forward, like can compete SmackDown, bro. This is just my opinion, just based on what we saw today, bro.
Yes, I mean, I tend to agree with you as well. I mean, there's a lot of good things that we're going to talk about. There's some not so great things, but you know what? Does this mean we are going to dive headfirst into it?
Yeah, but before that, I mean, for those, I guess to our future selves, to our audience that's gonna be like watching this when it airs on Tuesday, right? Shout out to all of you. Shout out to the people on our Patreon and Discord, bro.
That's right.
All of you guys.
As always, if you haven't already followed us on Discord, do so. Come join in the conversation with your fellow pro wrestling fam, And yes, we have a Patreon page, so if you want to take your support for the podcast one step further, do feel free to check it out. And as always, we say, you know what? Contribute however much is comfortable to you. We appreciate you.
Yes, and as well as a thank you for our Patreon members, we want to reward you guys with something special. I think this time next week, Mr. Young, we want to give them an opportunity to win something, Mr. Young.
Well, all we can say is that we've been having a lot of fun with our how about this as a tease, right? So we got that, right? Without coming out to say it, like those of you who know that June is the month where a certain game comes out, and we may or may not have some copies to give away right here on the podcast.
Ooh, okay, so you guys better stay tuned. So that is for next episode.
Yes.
But if you are a Patreon member, of course, first dibs on you guys. So hey,
absolutely,
be a Patreon member.
Here's the thing, right? So we're going to talk about AEW's Collision. Actually, I was about to say big hype going into it, but can we really say big hype going into it? The hype only came when CM Punk was announced. Let's be real.
Yeah, I felt like when they first announced Collision and they had that first poster where it was like MJF and Orange Cassidy on the poster, we were like, is it going to be just another Dynamite? Come on, seriously? Do we really need another 2 hours of AEW, given how the record was this last couple of months?
Yes. But of course, and to be honest, when Tony Khan came out and made his thing, it was kind of lukewarm, and it was going to be in Chicago, right? So, at least you know that if it's CM Punk in Chicago, it's going to be a huge, loud pop. And guess what? Surprise, surprise, it was. But before we get to the pop, how about the announced team?
Woo, okay, so that was like the first big W on my end, right? When I saw the stage came out, I really legitimately thought the stage was really dope.
It looked like a pay-per-view, didn't it?
it looked like a pay-per-view. It looked almost like a very retro Raw, but also a kind of like almost like a upgraded Ring of Honor. And I
Yeah.
heard that they actually filmed Ring of Honor right before this airing of Collision.
Oh, is it? I thought it was
So
after. As in, now that's how they package it. They go Ring of Honor after Collision.
yeah, or if I'm not wrong, they because Ring of Honor is not live, so I
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
they might have pre-recorded it, a bit of it before and after the show. So I
Mm.
do not know whether it's like reusing a bit of the template from Ring of Honor because got a bit of rain and stuff like that.
Correct.
But yeah, that was the first thing that caught my eye. I just thought that it was a solid production. Like really, Warner really give pump some money, bro, for this production. That was the one thing, and the commentary, of course.
Yes, of course. We kick off the show with Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness. All right, Nigel McGuinness, I was like, okay, they hired him. I remember he was elite and then he kind of disappeared for a bit, right? It's like, hey, what happened to him? Huh? And then Kevin Kelly, though, okay. Did you hear any rumors about Kevin Kelly being the play-by-play guy?
Yeah, honestly, Kevin Kelly was a complete surprise for me, right?
Same.
Nigel McGuinness was announced together when they announced the first time that they're going to do All In the Wembley. So that makes sense. But if I'm not wrong, I believe Nigel McGuinness might be commentating on ROH more.
Oh.
So maybe that's why we haven't seen him for a while. But then, bro, when Kevin Kelly came out, I was like, oh my God, the commentary this episode is gonna be lit because everybody respects Kevin Kelly. He is this generation's JR, in my opinion. Yeah.
To be fair, poor Kevin Kelly, I don't know if it was first time jitters or he just had never called an Andrade El Idolo match, but did you notice? Did you notice he kept screwing up Andrade's name?
Oh dear God, yeah. I think, right, bro, he's so used to calling Japanese guys' name, right? He forgot a Mexican name.
Yeah, like, that's the problem, right? When you're so used to calling a certain type of name, right? That all of a sudden, like, regular names that you should be very familiar with, all of a sudden you blur. So he called him Andre, Lulu, don't know what he called him. And I was like, what's going on?
God, yeah.
But we shan't be too hard on him because, like I said, it's his first time in a big major North American broadcast, right? In a while, not first time. First time in a while.
Yes, I believe. And of course, if you're long-time fans, you know him as like the backstage interviewer from the Attitude Era.
Bro.
Hermie.
I was about to say, you remember what The Rock used to call him? Poor guy, kena bullied by The Rock.
Yeah. But I didn't know he had like a career resurgence because, of course, when I started following New Japan, I didn't know he was that Kevin Kelly. I just thought he was a good announcer.
Yeah. No, he definitely made a name for himself outside of North American wrestling. So good to see him anyway. So much better to hear him. So let's start things off. And of course, look in my eyes. I mean, geez, man, that crowd, it's Chicago. It blew up for CM Punk, did it not?
Yeah, I didn't know how the reaction is going to be like because this is technically the second time.
Yep.
And second time is not really a good time to make another impression.
Yeah.
So I was worried that the ovation would be a bit low and all that. But I think a couple of things that came out that felt fresh, right? Of course, when CM Punk came out, the shaved head.
Yes.
The boots and that like Jake the Snake freaking canvas bag. I was thinking, what the hell is going on? So the intrigue immediately caught me straight away beyond the ovation.
I love that. And he never pulled out that title. He never showed anybody. He just leave it to our imagination. It's like, okay, you should know, right? So I'm glad that, him being, we've talked about it before. Like, I'm not that much of a fan as you are, but I can respect how smart and clever he is. Immediately, he talks about how he's been away because of a torn pec, right? He sets the stage, he explains it. So for someone who is a newcomer, who has been like, what has happened to CM Punk? Now we know. You realize, AEW has not once mentioned why CM Punk disappeared. They just say suspended 1 week and then that's it. Just let's not talk about him. Like, to me, it is amazing that CM Punk retains his heat, even though AEW has done no favors for him. Zero favors. Like, literally swept him under a rug. Like, oh, sorry, this one doesn't exist.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you were CM Punk, how would you feel? Like, freaking like Triple H got U2 to play Beautiful Day, got cut package on. Cody Rhodes got freaking like, all these backstage vignettes, him coming back from surgery.
Correct.
Nobody freaking go follow CM Punk and film his comeback. I literally got one-time promo come out in Dynamite and then we're supposed to expect him to come back. So it's a testament to his star power, in my opinion, that he can come back, immediately feel like the biggest deal there straight away.
Yeah. And I think it's a wake-up call, bro. And I don't know if your elite, people like Hangman Page, like the Bucks, they will wake up their idea and give him the props. But it's like, I'm just very afraid, right? It's going to be more of the same once we move on. Once things settle down from the hype of him returning, right? But okay, let's get to the promo. I mean, yeah, he does what he does best. He goes out there and he lays it out there. He doesn't make the whole inside jabs too much of the focus. There were some, which I love, by the way. What was it? The Warner executive or the head guy calls him One Bill Phil, in an industry full of counterfeit bucks. You gotta love it.
Oh, when he said that, my mouth was like, ooh.
Right.
Bro, he got away with words. Like, I mean, if nothing else, like, you might love him, you might hate him, you might think he's like a whiny guy, but nobody can out-talk him on the mic, bro. Yeah. Literally, no one can out-talk him on the mic.
No, and there's a difference, right? And this is what I respect about him, right? He can go out there and do that without making it the focus, without being all like childish about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some people use the kayfabe and like cutting promos and do insider thing a bit too over the top to the point that you lose the focus of the promo. Yep. I would dare say, remember, we weren't on air last week, but we missed out on the MJF and Adam Cole promo from about a week back, if you recall, right? I just felt like people were praising that promo, but I just felt like there was too much insider. Correct. That it didn't drive the story forward. Them talking about him potentially being on steroids, him having a skinny frame, the Vince thing, stuff. Right? The Vince thing, the Keith Lee thing, this will resonate with us who every single day keep watching or listening to wrestling news. Yeah. But to the audience, wouldn't you feel a bit alienated? Like, how am I going to get into the product if I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about?
This is one of the criticisms we've had of AEW for a very long time. These guys really do think that everyone who watches knows exactly what is going on, right? And they don't cater. See what CM Punk does immediately? He explains to the masses, this is what has happened to me. I'm back for a reason. And he even, he quote unquote, he said, hey, Max, I'm the true champion without saying too much. And it's sort of like, staked his claim on the world title, immediately puts himself without making the whole promo about Maxwell, blah, 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 because he knows MJF has his own feud to deal with right now. So I respect that. I think that it's a masterclass in how to promo versus any promo that Hangman Page or the Bucks have delivered.
Correct, because first of all, right, what's great about him setting context was he did explain that he never left. He was injured. So immediately he kind of get that initial, that was cleared up, right? Yeah. There wasn't him threatening to walk out of the company, blah, blah. And then secondly, what he did was he established his I don't give a fuck anymore attitude. Yeah. It can almost become a gimmick, Yeah. Like, correct, because people complain that he was like being a grumpy old man, I work with children, blah, blah, blah. But if he is smart enough to understand that this can garner heat from the audience in a kayfabe way, he would run with it, and he's doing exactly that.
Do you like his new catchphrase? It seems like his new catchphrase. He said it multiple times. Stop me if I'm telling lies.
Tell me when I'm telling lies. Something like that.
Tell me, something like that, right? So that seems like his new catchphrase. They're probably going to sell shirts. Actually, so the Young Bucks apparently responded to his counterfeit bucks comment on Twitter, didn't they? They changed their Twitter
link in
bio thing. Yeah. Right? Like something about if this were 2018, there will be pro wrestling t-shirts with counterfeit buck shirts everywhere already. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was like their thing. What every single time, like the WWE send them a cease and desist, then they will make a joke out of it. Yeah. So I do not know whether them acknowledging it is an indication that they are actually working us or like trying to this was kind of premeditated and it's supposed to allude to it. I don't know, but the point is, right, at least CM Punk never swept anything under the rug, because when the Bucks returned, the Elite returned, they immediately went on that 7-week, 8-week trios freaking feud. Like, correct, absolutely no context, never explain where they were and blah blah. So I feel like the Bucks really do not know how to cut promos. I'm thinking back. I've never had a good
Nope.
Young Bucks promo before, right?
No, all their promos have been backstage skits. They do skits like YouTube skits. They are not on CM Punk's level. 100%. And I don't care how much of a fan you are, you have to admit, like, it's like they are YouTubers versus a movie star. There's a clear delineation. One's a movie star and the other one is a YouTube guy.
Bro, you realize something very interesting about the promo, right?
Yeah.
He said like, everyone is asking me or demanding an apology from me, right? And I love how he basically just fucked them up by saying like, hey, the only apology I want to apologize is I apologize to you for being softer than the stars or than the wrestlers that you support.
Yeah.
And
like,
that was a shoot, in my opinion, on Hangman Page, right?
Oh, yes.
Do you realize he talked shit about Hangman, he talked shit about Bucks, but he never really talked shit about Kenny Omega?
Because I think we've talked about it before. I don't think Kenny is the main problem here. He's sort of, he's only an issue because he is best friends with them. But I really believe that if you listen to this podcast, I've said this a million times. If Kenny goes and does his own thing away from the Elite, I bet he would be a massive asset to the company. He would be the guy that draws ratings.
Yeah, okay. I know, like, Jim Cornette biased. He always make fun of Kenny Omega, the way he wrestles, his video game, blah, 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 shenanigans. But do you realize, actually, out of all the Elite, I feel he's the one that tries the hardest to kind of broker peace deals. Like, he seemed to be, and there was rumors that after the fight happened, right, he was actually the first among that group to kind of approach CM Punk and like to like, hey, I apologize, blah, 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 make a mistake.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like CM Punk doesn't have any issues with Kenny Omega at all.
If anything,
I really think he's
right.
Yeah.
If there were ever to be a resolution to this whole insider saga, right, it would probably be CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. More than anything, I think that is the only match that would happen.
Correct. And I feel if Kenny works with Punk, right, Punk will actually help Kenny elevate his mystique.
Yeah.
Because, right, I do not know. I know we are jumping ahead slightly talking about the rest of the show, but don't you feel like the show highlighted a lot of the wrestlers that I feel CM Punk believes in?
Yes,
wants to spotlight.
Yeah, it's quite obvious, and the ones that he highlighted seem to be the ones that moving ahead. We'll just jump into it before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Okay, so we have the big promo. Hey. It's CM Punk in Chicago, right? The energy was there. Actually, just one more thing. I really wonder, moving ahead, not being in his hometown, if he will get the same sort of reaction. Or is it going to be mixed? Is he going to be the next Cena, basically? Well, then again, or is he going to be the CM Punk?
I think, right, his new gear, right, his new merchandise, I think gave away what is his plan, his trajectory for the months ahead.
Okay.
You realize his shirt design is reminiscent of Roddy Piper, right?
Oh, I was thinking isn't that Larry, his dog?
Yeah, he got his dog plastered at the front, but the red highlights and accents and the white shirt is Roddy, right? And I have a feeling, right, he's gonna take inspiration from Roddy going forward. Where Roddy, right?
Yeah.
He don't give a fuck. He was a heel. He was an asshole. Blah blah blah. But he's always spoke the truth.
Yes.
There was never like a Roddy Piper promo that you felt like, he talking cock lah, he talking bullshit. No, you always like, oh yeah, that fucker got a point. He's an asshole, but damn, he got a point.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe that's why we are going.
Yeah. That's a very great observation. So, there you go. That's your CM Punk. That won't be the last of CM Punk though. But let's move on to the actual first match of the brand new show, Collision. Luchasaurus, Wardlow. So okay, is this the toilet break? Because god damn, man, this this was unfortunate on many levels. First of all, Luchasaurus still very green, and even though they removed his green mask, he's still green. Wardlow, I mean, he had all the heat, and then he cooled down significantly. Then you gave him the TNT title, and then you take away the TNT title in a slow, plodding sort of a match. Yes, Christian Cage screwed Wardlow, I get it. This furthers their feud, but is the TNT title gonna be that sort of hot potato title now?
It's so funny because I think if you were CM Punk, you'll probably be like, wow, what happened to this fella? When I
Yeah,
was working together with him, I was making him into a big star.
yeah,
Now this fucker down the drain. So I
yeah.
think he's trying to rehabilitate Wardlow.
Mm.
The booking decision for this match a bit head scratching, to be honest. I don't know why we are
Okay.
giving the title to Luchasaurus.
Do you think it is a case of just peel the bandage off? The mistakes have been made. Just peel the bandage off and make Wardlow chase again. Rebuild. You know what I mean? Like, don't try to
Mm,
drag this out. Just take the bandage off. It might sting now. It sucks now. But we are
mm.
building towards this story of Wardlow once again climbing the ranks.
Yes, I also tend to agree with you. I
Mm.
believe that Collision is where we're gonna see Wardlow get back his momentum.
Yeah.
And if there's anything nice to say about this match, I would say that I really enjoyed Christian Cage taking credit for winning the title,
Yeah.
fucking like raising the hair. Typical
Yeah.
Captain Charisma, bro.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
yeah.
I definitely see a lot more legs as it relates to sort of this dynamic. We have Christian Cage, who, you know, like you said, like he takes the credit. Will Lucha turn on Christian at some point, or will he always like? We'll have to wait and see. And of course, the question that we asked last week, and it permeates through this week as well. Like after watching this, right, I'm like, okay, who is booking this and will it be consistent? Because, like we've mentioned before, right, the storyline will continue on Dynamite. This is not a brand exclusive thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, will it be a case of the booking on Collision makes sense one day and then a
Mm-hmm.
few days later on Dynamite, they do some bullshit booking with
I mean,
them,
we have to assume Tony Khan has overall say on
Uh,
every single show,
which is a
but
problem, yes.
yes, but maybe the ones that is like advising him on each show is different,
Okay.
right? Because we've heard stories like Ace Steel is gonna be involved in the top
Mm.
storylines, booking wise on Collision, blah blah blah.
But how would they book that though? So because you have the same wrestlers on different shows being booked differently, that wouldn't make any sense, right? Like maybe the Collision bookers have an idea of where their feud should go, but then on Dynamite is a different booker who will push them a different direction, and then wouldn't it lead to
Yeah,
confusing
correct.
storylines?
So we need some clarity as like fans, right, to know
Yeah,
how hard and fast is their roster split gonna be. Like, are they gonna
yeah.
be legitimately this guy only wrestles in Collision? Like, you're not gonna see CM Punk on Dynamite and all blah blah blah.
Mm,
Maybe that's the case. If Wardlow gonna be a Collision exclusive, then I feel okay.
yeah.
I feel safe,
Same.
right?
You're right,
Yeah,
exactly right. I hope they really do that, and once in a while they trade, fellas. Once in a while you do like, free agents also, that's fine, we close one eye,
yeah.
as long as we get decent continuity, because I would like to watch Collision and only Collision, so I don't have to watch Dynamite as well. That would be nice.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, it's a great way to start my Sunday morning, lah. But the funny thing is, right, when I was watching the whole match, and I kind of felt,
Mm,
I don't know about you, I kind of felt I was gonna enjoy the episode regardless, because everything
yeah.
in terms of the booking
Mm,
decision and how they were presented felt
yep.
like a big deal.
Yeah. It felt like a breath of fresh air. Now, that being said, this is the first episode. We have to give it a bit of time, right? Like,
Yeah, let it breathe.
remember Rampage when it first came on? Oh, huge breath of fresh air, debut of CM Punk, blah 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 blah, and then so
Yes, yes,
so I
yes.
don't put it past AEW to drop the ball here. You never know
Yeah.
what drama is going to happen in the next few weeks, which makes things actually very interesting, right? So okay, you got
Yeah.
Luchasaurus. He's now the TNT champion. We'll see where this goes. Let's move on to the next match. Andre Lilululu versus Buddy Matthews, i.e., the guy, for
Oh
whatever
dear
reason,
God.
Kevin Kelly could not get a handle on his name. Hey,
Oh, so cannot call him.
Has Andrade
He
never wrestled in Japan? Is it?
uh I can't be so sure because I know he's
Mexico
regular
based.
in the Mexican scene, yeah. But
Yeah.
his faction,
Mm.
the LIJ, right,
Yeah.
is technically his faction and they are very active in Japan. So I do not know whether he has done it in his old persona.
Okay. Let's not make too much fun of old Hermie over there. Andrade.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I enjoyed the hell out of this match. They were trying to do the whole left knee or right tete story. They were selling a lot. Buddy Matthews and Andrade, they had a few really cool moves, but they didn't have to resort to flippy shit. Did you
Yeah.
notice? And
Bro,
that was the thing that permeated the entire night. Go ahead.
I noticed for sure. And didn't they have like a series of matches on Raw also like a
Yeah.
few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
It's and also when the first thing that came out when I saw all of them coming onto the entrance, I was like, holy shit, both of them got jacked, or are they
Yeah.
did they even get more jacked than they were previously or something?
I think they
Especially
got
Andrade, bro.
yeah, they got more jacked. I mean, when you have time off, you nothing better to do. You every day, go gym lah.
Yeah, that's the thing. And when I see them, and I'm thinking to myself, right, when they're in the ring and they were hard hitting, doing all those crazy moves,
Yeah.
like, why the fuck are they like challenging for the world title? Why the fuck is a skinny ass motherfucker like a freaking like,
Darby
I don't want to Darby. I'm not. I mean, I love
pockets.
them.
Yeah.
I love all of them. I got nothing, no hate against them. But like when you look at Andrade, you look at Buddy Matthews, fuck, that is like I can see them wrestling Chris Benoit
Yeah.
and Kurt Angle, right?
Well, I mean, we all know the answer to that lah. They are not best friends, besties with the elite. But obviously CM Punk sees potential in them, and that's why they are here on Collision. Thank goodness.
You bro,
So
you realize one
yeah.
more thing. The true alphas are the body abang body, the fucking like they got their shit, they know their shit.
Yeah.
Do you realize they are not wasting time trying to politic because they are
No.
confident in themselves?
Correct. They can absolutely just go off if they don't, have AEW sort of like, doing them right. They can go off and headline somewhere in Mexico. They absolutely know they can do it.
Yeah. So I like this kind of men like becoming the top guys.
Okay, right.
Right.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see where it goes. But here's the thing, right? So they have this match, and then Andrade tries to shake Buddy's hand. And this is where I was a bit worried. Okay? Because lights go out, the whole House of Black shenanigans, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, okay, are they going to start a feud between Andrade and the House of Black? Which means Andrade will go and get his friends. Remember? Roosh and who else?
Yes.
The manager guy?
Yeah,
With
Jose.
Yeah. But they need a third. They need a third.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, right, remember we were making fun of Andrade because months back he was like Andrade family office with Matt Hardy and all that. Yeah. When he tries to talk and try to do all that weird shit, is like not serious. But if they let him go, right, like how they did this match, fuck, I can take Andrade seriously, bro.
To my point again, right, it's like I don't want to see him involved in some group thing. I just have him. But if they make this House of Black versus just Andrade, I think that would be great. That would be fun. So he has to fight from but because he's obviously a face here, right? He's a baby face.
Yep.
So you have like sort of the group trying to bully him, and then he somehow fights back. I don't want this to be another. Oh, he go and get his Rouge. He go and get don't know who, and then it becomes another faction war. Like I want to see these two go at it 1-on-1, and I think Andrade versus Brody King, Andrade versus Malachi. Those will be awesome matches as well.
It will be for sure. I think we used to talk about how WWE doesn't have enough factions.
Yeah.
And we also saw how he was awesome in NXT against Gargano 1-on-1. I think in AEW the biggest problem with them is they love their faction wars too much. Too much.
It becomes a joke at this point. You know? Like you got
everybody got friend, bro.
Yeah,
everybody
exactly.
Got friend.
And half of the time the matchups don't make any sense, right? So
I like 1-on-1 with them. Even paying homage to their wives was damn dope. Their partners. You saw the finisher, right?
And
Andrade did like a figure 8 in homage to Charlotte Flair. And Buddy Matthews did the Rhea Ripley's submission, if you realize as well.
Right. That, what is it called? I can't remember what it's called, but you know, we know what we're talking about. So there you go. That's that. Let's move on to the next match. Okay, Miro versus Tony Nese. Not really a match. It was a squash. It was to highlight Miro. Okay, like it's fine. Like Miro is back, right? And his pop though. Like we have been waiting for Miro, have we not?
Have we not for sure? Like when Miro came back with the size, I think he got even bigger than he was last time. As I think everybody just in the freaking their bed caves and getting jacked, lah, bro. And I don't know about you, but maybe because Iron Sheik's passing was just so recent. When he put in that camel clutch, bro, I was like, ooh, I got goosebumps, bro. I'm like, okay, I want Miro to carry on Iron Sheik's legacy and just be this crazy ass motherfucker heel.
I mean, if anybody could be, it would be him, right? His nickname is the Redeemer. His promos are all about like, talking to God and stuff like that. So he kind of has a bit of the Iron Sheik vibe where it's like, is this fella for real or crazy or what?
Yeah. Speaking of redeeming, right? Do you think he will be the one that can redeem the TNT title?
I hope so. Well, then again, obviously it's Lucha versus Wardlow right now. Like they're still having their feud. We'll have to wait and see where it goes with Miro. But once again, I'm just very hesitant, bro. Like, yes, we see Collision, all these guys that we love returning, And then how are they going to be portrayed on Dynamite? Are they going to go to Dynamite and then all of a sudden Miro versus Darby Allin and Darby Allin wins or some nonsense? You know what I mean? Like AEW is very, very capable of doing such a thing, I feel.
We shall see what is their future, but I tell you, it's a promising first episode in my opinion.
Yeah. Let's move on to Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale versus The Outcast. This was the stinker of the night, unfortunately. I know it was Sky Blue's hometown, was it?
Yeah, apparently she's a Chicago girl as well.
Yeah, and Willow is some sort of like a strong women's champion or something. It means nothing. Everyone has a title. Whatever. I don't even know what company that's from. Versus Ruby Soho and Toni Storm, who is the AEW women's champion, right?
Yes. So
I don't know, man. I did not like this match.
Willow Nightingale apparently is New Japan Strong Champion, so I didn't know she's been having a run in New Japan.
Sure.
So I guess good on her. The thing about Willow and Sky Blue, okay, let's talk about the positives, right? They are homegrown talent, and I feel like in 10 years' time, they probably can be like huge stars given their so-called demographic. Sky Blue, definitely all the girls will look up to her. Willow got this very lovable, great babyface energy. You can't help but want to support her. My concern for both of them is I think they are not ready for national television.
100%. They are greener than the Outcasts and their hair. Heck, at this point, the Outcast is so passé. I don't know about you, but when I see the Outcast, I'm like, lame.
Bro, who got less shit? The Outcast or freaking what was the Damage Control on WWE side?
Oh shit. Both equally have bad heat. Like, I don't know what's going on with those factions. Like, it's one of those cases where being in a faction doesn't help them. Like, the whole idea of a faction is to sort of, you have one figurehead to bring the other two up, right? In the case of Damage Control and of the Outcasts, the leader sort of hasn't really fulfilled that role of bringing the other two up. And so everybody fails. Everybody suffers for it.
Yeah, like a positive example, I would say Judgment Day. Judgment Day, like everyone is over. Like even people complain about Finn not being over or not being a good leader, blah, blah, blah. But everyone respects him in the ring. So it's like almost like, okay, he makes it up by being an in-ring technician. But everyone else is over. Not the Outcast though. Like I really can't. Yeah,
like, I think Saraya was the big problem. You had Saraya come in and then with all this like face, this fanfare because Paige is returned, and then you sort of flip her heel, and then it was just, it's bad booking. It's just bad booking all around. So when you get the big upset, right? It's not like, okay, they've been sort of going back and forth, have they? I remember seeing Sky Blue versus one of the members of the Outcast, stuff like that. So it's not something out of the blue, but at the same time though, like you said, they are not ready. So, like, this didn't feel like a 1-2-3 kid pinning Reza Ramon situation. It just felt like, okay, like that,
Unfortunately, I feel like Cora Jade can do Sky Blue better than Sky Blue right now.
Yes.
And maybe that's where the level that it should be in. I think Sky Blue would be perfect in NXT, in my opinion, right?
ROH, they need a little bit more cooking. Let's get to our main event then. So I know you were eagerly anticipating this, and come on, at the end of the day, you know this couldn't have been a bad match. It's just where do we go from here, right? So we had FTR and CM Punk versus Bullet Club Gold and Samoa Joe. And I honestly, like, with Bullet Club Gold, we've talked about it before. They came in like, ooh, fanfare, and then absolutely nothing, right? Like, can you see, if they start working with CM Punk, can you see them sort of being a force to be reckoned with?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, because I feel like Juice Robinson can get over because he's a crazy character, right?
Right.
Like he got that, as Jim Cornette would like to say, right? He's got the face of somebody who picks a fight in 2 a.m. at a Waffle House. You know?
Yeah.
He got that kind of face. So
Yeah.
he's got that going, which is great in
And bro,
wrestling context.
the funny thing is, right, I feel like he's a better promo than the oh my god, I forgot his name.
Jay White.
Jay White. Yeah, I feel like he's a better promo than Jay White.
Okay, the Jay White issue is, I think Jay White issue is similar as the Kenny Omega issue.
Mm.
Jay White felt special in New Japan because he's the only guy that kind of looks like him, kind of have his vibe. You know, he can be that gaijin guy, right?
Yeah.
But he's not the gaijin anymore. He's just another Caucasian guy in a bunch of Caucasians. So he kind of had to stand out a bit more than just being the switchblade. So I feel like he definitely need to work on how he presents himself in North America. Right?
Yes.
But from what I see, it seems like they are heading towards like a feud between Bullet Club Gold and FTR.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is the case, I think if nothing else, they might elevate them as a force within a tag team concept, not in the singles yet.
Absolutely. And of course, the other quote unquote main plot line was CM Punk and Samoa Joe sort of rekindling their feud from days gone by in Ring of Honor, right? Obviously, you know, I didn't really follow Ring of Honor. So do you know much about this feud? Was it a really extended feud?
Okay, so they had this trilogy of matches in 2005. It was voted Feud of the Year. So this was when Ring of Honor was literally 3 years old.
Yeah.
Their feud was so well known that it kind of it was like literally the best rated feud beyond anything that WWE put out that year, even better than what TNA put out that year.
Right.
And it's crazy because it's Ring of Honor and they didn't have distribution, right? So it was like almost like this cult classic. I only watched this trilogy like 2 years ago during the pandemic.
Right.
Because I was thinking like, okay, CM Punk content. What was so good about him at that point in time, right? Trying to dive into the past. So apparently in that feud, right, CM Punk kind of like got owned like by Samoa Joe the entire time. So he was literally like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Where essentially CM Punk never beat Samoa Joe like clean until the final third match. So the first match was Samoa Joe won the title, I think, and was the champion, beat CM Punk. Second match was like a 60-minute draw. And they were like, oh shit, like CM Punk could have won, but then he just Samoa Joe barely survived.
Right.
And then the final one, CM Punk like finally did the big one, like he did a Jeff Hardy beating Triple H, you know?
Yeah.
Finally slay the monster. So I think what people appreciated about that match was it literally wasn't just technical classic, you know, flippy stuff, but it was like a psychological classic.
Right.
How does this smaller size guy outwit this bigger size monster? So it was that scenario that people respected. And of course, Samoa Joe is not just any kind of monster. This guy can fly and can go as well. So that was the appeal of this match, this trio of matches.
Nice. So, okay, then the question is, right, can they rehash that? Probably in a more updated way. Like, okay, I don't know how much more physicality Samoa Joe has in his tank, and of course CM Punk as well. It worked fine in a 6-person because you had FTR, you had Bullet Club Gold to sort of pick up the slack, right? But in a one-on-one though, like, okay, we all know that the promos are going to be incredible. First of all, Samoa Joe versus CM Punk. But the matches, like, okay, if anything, I know these two are smart enough to stretch the matches out. They only wrestle at the pay-per-views, right? They just build it up in between. They are not going to give it away on free TV. So,
but the thing is, right, like when you saw the match, of course you're not knowing any of the context between their past, their history in Ring of Honor. How do you feel seeing CM Punk match up against Samoa Joe and when they actually like traded blows?
I mean, I enjoyed it. You know, I think more than anything, right, because it was the return of CM Punk, you know, that in itself brings up the whole match as it was like, oh, okay, shit, first time in a long time, let's go.
It felt like a party. It felt like a party almost.
It felt like a happening, right?
And
obviously got diminishing returns live. He disappears and comes back again, you know, it'll be less and less hype. But at this point, it's still quite hype. And of course, you know, we all know like his friendship with FTR and that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to see more. Yes.
Yeah, one thing I like about this match, right, was it's not just CM Punk only was highlighted throughout the match. I felt like there was a lot of cool combinations between the different team members. I would dare say I actually enjoyed if you watch the match,
Yeah.
like throughout, right? Samoa Joe's interaction with Dex Howard was actually fucking hilarious. Did you
Okay.
see? Because they kept chopping each other,
Right.
and then like when Samoa Joe has this huge chest, right?
Yeah.
So every time when like Dex like chop him, right, the sound was really like a gunshot. But Samoa Joe never moved, then he kept smiling.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
and of course, when Samoa Joe returns the favor and slap the shit out of Dex, Dex will stumble and go to the ropes. So when one time he stumbled one time too many, right? And he fell on the road, then he like kind of smiled to himself. He's like, okay, I'm a crazy motherfucker. Then he turned around and smiled at Samoa Joe. Then Samoa Joe was like, huh. Nah, you like that piece of shit? You know, like got that face, like, oh,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
So like, it was interesting because I feel like the combination of opponents was fresh because I never seen them work against each other. So that's great.
Yeah. So moving ahead, right? What's your hope for these teams, these wrestlers that have been on Collision? Like, are you like me, where it's like, okay, maybe they don't do too much on Dynamite. Maybe they show up. Like how Hobbs just randomly showed up. Oh, he's gonna be on Collision, but he's not wrestling. Okay. You know who needs to go? QT Marshall needs to go. Freaking what's that fake lawyer guy? Mark Sterling.
The Sterling needs to go.
He needs to go. They are just like they are the worst. Like, you know when you think of managers, right? And like they're like the worst managers. As in, I don't even care about them getting beat up or anything. It's just
they are caricature of a manager, in my opinion.
Yeah, they are taking all the heat, and it's just annoying. Like I don't even care to see QT get beat up. I just want to see him go away.
Yo, that's the worst kind, man. Like, okay, despite that, right, Will Hobbs appearing and stating his claim to like, want to get involved in the Owen Hart Cup tournament, I think is promising. Do you realize somebody else that stake his claim?
Ricky Starks.
Somebody that CM Punk is completely behind, so Ricky Starks stake his claim. And we even missed out on our good friends, freaking the Acclaim. The Acclaim got some TV time on Collision as well with Daddy Ass. So I literally feel this is the CM Punk show of the wrestlers that he believes in.
So okay, then will it be a case of when we move on to Dynamite, they get buried? They go to Collision, they get highlighted, or you know what I mean? It's like. Wow, I don't know how this is gonna work. It's gonna be very interesting to see. Also, Scorpio Sky.
Like, yes, right. Promo as well.
Where has this fella been? Okay, I mean, the problem is he had a cool package, like video package about his title wins and blah blah blah. But in my head, I'm like, so because the poor guy has been booked so badly, he's disappeared from TV.
Yeah. I would say, like, literally, I think this whole show's purpose, it will be the rehabilitation of the wrestlers that we all thought was going to do well and got fucked up by the system. So I think that is the hope for me, for Collision.
Right. Same. Yeah. Exactly the same.
I
think it would be damn funny, actually. And I wouldn't put it past the Elite, right? Really, every time you highlight one guy, you bury him on Dynamite. Highlight Collision, bury on Dynamite.
But then they're gonna make it clear that they're the assholes to do that. So I don't think they will do it. It's bad for business. I hope Tony Khan doesn't really allow that shit lah.
Of course, I'm kidding, but you never know, bro. And if it does happen, you heard it here first, okay? Now they did set up some stuff for Dynamite, but this was my big criticism of Collision as a whole, right? What's coming up next week on Collision?
Ooh, they highlighted some matches though, right?
Did they? I feel like, did I miss them? Because I don't know if they highlighted any matches for next week on Collision.
They talk Dynamite. About what happened on Dynamite only.
Yeah, they set up Dynamite matches, but I don't think they set up too much for Collision matches. And that's the problem because like Collision is not selling. In like Toronto, I think it's next week or something like that. Remember, there's still the issue of they are not able to sell tickets, right? So why wouldn't you announce on the show that potentially I could go and watch? Announce what's the main event or what's a key marquee matchup, right? Like, are they trying to sort of hold it close to the vest so they announce it on Dynamite so we are forced to watch on Dynamite? I think that's a mistake. At least give us one or two matches.
I heard the issue with the ticket sales for Collision next Saturday is because literally the day after was Forbidden Door, and Forbidden Door is sold out. So most of the wrestling fans bought Forbidden Door tickets, thinking that there's only going to be one show in their city that week.
Correct.
Then suddenly this collision got announced. So they are like, alamak, why would they want to buy another pair of tickets they already bought? So
yeah,
they might have an issue trying to fill that up as well, in my opinion.
It's weird that they schedule it like that. It's almost as if they didn't plan it properly. Anyway, you do, exactly right. It's not like it's a WrestleMania where people will go there for the whole weekend. It's a whole experience. It's like, it's kind of like a different show almost, but that's a nice segue into the next thing we'll talk about very briefly. Forbidden Door is coming up very soon, so we'll do a quick preview. Yes. But before we do that, all in all, upon 10, what do you give the first episode of Collision?
I would say based on the strength of everything that CM Punk did on this show, based on the Andrade freaking match with Buddy, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, same. Opinion. I was exactly thinking 8 in my head. I'm like, like it felt fresh. Commentary team. I mean, they dusted off JR.
Poor guy. I heard he had a fall.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, apparently he had a fall. If you look at social media, right, he got a big black eye on his eye, and that's why I think his throat is a bit hoarse. So I thought like, why JR like a bit drunk or like kena sore throat or something, right? But apparently, he had a fall the weekend that he's supposed to fly off to this show, but he's decided to still come because he really wanted to commentate on the main event. So kudos to him.
So is it a case of he is the special attraction where he only commentates the main event, or he commentates the whole show? And only he didn't do so this week because he had the fall.
So from what I see, right, on Wikipedia, it seems like the lead play-by-play will be Kevin Kelly.
Okay.
Color will be Nigel. And according to them, according to the wiki, JR is actually color analyst. So I feel like he might be just special occasion or main event only.
Okay. Well, I guess that makes sense. So there you go.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine for his role at this point in time. I wanted to highlight one last thing, bro. Did you see the ESPN interview hyping up Collision, bro?
No, I did not.
Okay, so the funny thing is because I do not know whether this is the Elite drama trying to stir shit up or what, but CM Punk did an interview that was approved by AEW about ESPN.
Yeah.
And then in the article, right, he did upfront like talk about how he thought that, Adam Page was literally trying to shoot on him in the ring during their title match.
Yes.
Right? I think you might have seen some of the comments, and that's why he felt like he had to protect himself.
Yeah, I saw the headlines, but I didn't read into it too much.
Yeah, so apparently that led to some speculation on the dirt sheets that people were very angry that, CM Punk was doing something that might jeopardize the Collision pay-per-view or the Collision first show. So I do not know, like, the ones that reported that they are worried that, people are unhappy with the comments, it's all the insider, like the Dave Meltzer and all that. Do you see a pattern there?
Yes, and you know who they're best friends with? The Bucks. So it's the Bucks that are leaking, and we all know that they've been doing it since, day one, right? It's quite transparent.
Yeah, and it's almost as if there was this report saying that AEW management is a bit worried because, like, Hangman Page is in the middle of negotiations for a new contract. So they scared like the comments by CM Punk might affect the re-signing. And I'm thinking to myself, right, like this could either be like them being super petty or this could be the biggest work in the world. I really hope like they literally can set their egos aside and really make this the biggest work. I'm so glad to eat my words if this is a work. Yeah. But as of now, I just feel like literally what CM Punk said, this is grown-up work, man. This is for grown-ups. Don't be this petty, bro.
I'm working with children, right? Is his famous quote from that press con. So, I mean, I'm in the same boat as you, bro. Like, I would love to be, proven wrong. Oh, this was a work all along. Ha, ha, ha. We got you. That would be the best work of all time. But realistically, we all know what's up. Huh? You and I, we know what's up.
I still think the biggest money match that they can draw to literally sell out, the stadium there is the 6-man FTR, CM Punk, the Elite. Literally, that will sell it out based on just all this drama alone.
But they don't even need to announce the match. They already kind of sold it out. Right? Is it sold out, or is it like, they've sold a lot of tickets? I believe they sold a lot of tickets, but it's not sold out, right?
Yes. They sold a lot. They're 65 to 70,000, but the capacity is 90,000.
Yeah, I don't think that it's going to be a worry because they're still relying on the brand name. It's an event. There's still no main event and they managed to sell that. I think they're fine. The problem is I don't think it will ever happen. Not in...
Do you think CM Punk will eventually stand face to face in the ring with the Elite this year, or it won't happen at all?
I don't think it will happen because I don't feel like he thinks that they are safe to work with. And at the end of the day, I don't care how much money is at stake, right? If you don't feel like you can work with somebody and they are there to protect you in a sport where you are supposed to be protecting each other, then I think he's smart. I think he's smart enough to know that, okay, I should not work with them. You know, and I wouldn't blame him if they were like, oh yeah, come, let's do Elite versus FTR CM or CM FTR, whatever they call themselves. As a, like, I don't think so.
What will be your dips be then on CM Punk's first major feud? I'm not expect.
I mean, it's obvious what they kind of set it up. Samoa Joe, and it's the person he's worked with. He knows that he's safe, knows that he can deliver on every level possible. Makes sense, right?
I hope moving beyond Joe, he's gonna revisit MJF again. He might really challenge the title again.
I think he has to. I think he has to for MJF's sake, because at this point MJF is suffering. He is struggling, and not because he's bad. No, but let's not forget he's still very young. You know, he needs a solid fella to go up against to build his own legacy. And right now, Adam Cole is not the guy. We love the guy, you know, he's a nice guy, everything, but Adam Cole is not the guy, you know?
You know what it is, bro? Remember when Triple H first became the WWE champion, like 99, 2000?
Yeah.
But the fans still think he was like, nah, he doesn't deserve to be in this spot.
So
until
Cactus,
he
right?
Who? Yes.
So is CM Punk the Cactus in this equation where once MJF finally definitively beats CM Punk, then he gets
he's a made man.
He's a made man.
Yeah. I think so. I think so too.
Well, I think CM Punk has that in his mind, because going back to what CM Punk said in his promo, like it was just a throwaway, but he still addressed Max. He still addressed him. He's like, don't forget, we still have a thing, So you don't. So as a viewer, you're like, oh shit, yeah, but not for now. And I think that's great. I think that CM Punk is the sort of guy that sees that this guy is obviously going to be the future of the business. Max.
Yeah. We gotta trust him, man. But so segueing Forbidden Door, let's talk about the match card, man.
Okay, I'm gonna have to lean on you heavily on this one because I don't really pay attention to the New Japan stuff, and honestly, once again, this is the same thing that has happened in the previous Forbidden Door. I'm like, oh yeah, all these matches, I don't know who these guys are, so like, I will watch it, but only because I have to watch it, right? So okay, you got MJF versus Tanahashi. How did this come about?
Okay, so actually this is quite a funny thing. So apparently, you know how MJF has this funny gimmick about him that he hates New Japan. He doesn't watch New Japan at all. He's like fucking anti New Japan, right? So this is, so I think it was put to him by, like, after the press scrum on Double or Nothing. They were like, oh, going into Forbidden Door, since you're the world champion, are you gonna defend your title in a high profile match against a top star from New Japan? And he's like, fuck no, hell no. I'm gonna take a holiday. It was that funny, right? So, but then somebody brought up the point that last year, it was Tanahashi versus John Moxley, right, for the title, right? And so Tanahashi actually challenged for the world title last year. So they were saying like, oh, what if you go against like the John Cena, everything, that the person that represents New Japan over everything, Tanahashi. And again, so the whole running joke in Dynamite is like he keep avoiding the question. He's like, nah, I don't want to get face to him. So until I think Tony Khan made it like official that okay, as the world champion, you're obligated to have a world title defense against a New Japan star. And I think Tanahashi also laid down the marker like, hey, I want to challenge for the title as well. So that's how it came about.
Right. Okay. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see, especially the way MJF has built himself as I'm the anti, New Japan guy. I don't watch that crap, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. He catered to people like you, basically. People who also don't care what
exactly.
It's quite funny,
Sonata versus Jungle Boy with Hook. Why is Hook hanging around with Jungle Boy now?
Okay, so they reformed their Jungle Hook like boy toy tag team. I think right after Jungle Boy lost at Double or Nothing. So I think they immediately went back into that tag team. Don't ask me how they started it. They just went back into it.
Wait, hold on. I just remembered one thing. Sorry to cut you off there, but I wanted to go back to the MJF stuff, right? Like we talked about how MJF has moved on to his feud with Adam Cole. Do you remember at the end of the last pay-per-view where he screwed Darby Allin? Why aren't they revisiting that? That's my question. I forgot to bring
Why-
up. Why isn't it MJF versus Darby Allin, which we know works?
Yeah, I agree. But if you saw Dynamite last week, I know where they're going towards.
Okay.
Because did you see the all around social media where it was Sting and Chris Jericho facing each other?
Yeah. Oh God. Yes. I didn't watch Dynamite because I'm really done with Dynamite. I'm like, it's gone the same way as Rampage. I'll just see some highlights. I saw the Sting Chris Jericho thing. So what? Like Sting and Darby Allin versus Jericho and his new boy toy. Like, is that what they're going for? And why is that something I'm interested in?
Okay, so just to get you up to speed lah. So basically, since Sammy Guevara announced that he's gonna have a child, apparently he turned back babyface lah. Because having a child is the
Sure.
ultimate babyface move lah.
Yeah.
So he came back. I think he was in the middle of the ring. He was saying like, I might have failed in my challenge for the world title, but I'm gonna build myself back up, and now I got a reason to fight even harder because I got this kid, blah blah blah. And then that's when Darby Allin came out, and Darby Allin actually had a face-to-face promo with Sammy saying like, hey, I might not like you, but I respect you after what you did in what do you call it? In during the Double or Nothing Fatal 4-Way match, right?
Yeah.
And he said like, and please, for the love of God, like you need to get rid of Chris Jericho because Chris Jericho is holding you back. So
Right.
WWE trying to talk some sense to Sammy Guevara, right? So inevitably that brings out our dear Chris Jericho, where Chris Jericho say, no, he's not a boy toy. He follows me because I'm the best, blah, blah, blah. And then I think he said, with all due respect, Darby Allin, get out of my face. I want to talk to Sammy one-on-one. So that's when they were planting a seed of an eventual Sammy Guevara versus Chris Jericho feud. So it's supposed to lead up towards that.
Bro, didn't they already do this with the other guy? Remember, what's that guy? JS?
Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, didn't they
Daniel
already do
Garcia.
some bullshit like that with him? Now they're doing this whole like, stop it. Oh my God, I can't, I hate it, right?
Bro, your favorite wrestler, bro. Come on.
I
what's
know,
this?
I feel very like, and the funny thing was just yesterday, I was having Father's Day dinner with my dad and my wife, right? And my wife,
yeah.
my wife purposely chocho, like try to test my dad. How well do you know your son, And then she asked him, who is your son's favorite wrestler? And then when my dad said,
Is it?
yeah, when my dad said Chris Jericho, because he was the one who introduced me to wrestling, right?
Oh,
And he knows
wow.
that Chris Jericho is from Winnipeg. I like Chris Jericho, blah blah blah. He was like, Chris Jericho. I'm like, I legit felt embarrassed when he said that. I was like, oh, shit.
Maybe in his mind, it's like, oh, Chris Jericho from 2000 when he was a star.
No, that's the point, right? Like he hasn't obviously kept up or watched wrestling at all since my youth. But the fact that he knows, but and when he said it, I actually felt embarrassed because of what Chris Jericho has been doing recently. But anyway, that's a side note.
God. Yeah, that's quite happy Father's Day to your dad, by the way. That's
Happy
funny
Father's Day
story.
to your dad as well. But So
Oh dear God.
So they're doing this, rehashing this whole, this is my boy, you're gonna turn my boy against me, who, instead of, are you a sports entertainer versus a pro wrestler? Now it's,
Yes.
are you going to continue following me? So I see where, they are trying to go with that, but also MJF, Darby Allin had legs. There was a natural segue into the next feud, but I guess they are like, nope, not gonna bother this. Once again, AEW just dropping the ball and, doing whatever they want to do.
To be honest, like of course when that happened and then eventually Sting would come out, right, to kind of defend Darby Allin, and they had that face to face between Y2J and Sting. And then when I saw both of them like pointing the bat at each other's neck, right, and then I like transport myself in my brain like, if this was 1999 or 2000, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit, this would be like a raw moment in time,
Yeah.
But this fucker, one is 64, one is 50, both can retirement senior citizen age. Then I'm like, I don't really need to see this at this point in time.
No, you're right. You're exactly right. They put it on social media. I saw it, and when I looked at the pictures, like, wow, can you believe they've never fought before? I was like, I don't care. Not now, not in 2023. This isn't a juicy match,
Like Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold, as much as I would have loved it in the Attitude Era, now I just want them to sit down and rest and enjoy their retirement.
Exactly. Okay, sorry for the sidetrack. Let's go back. Sonata versus Jungle Boy. I remember when Hook we saw Hook, and he was this guy with so much potential. He had the cool hair, and then it just went away. Once again,
It's the
AEW,
booking. It's
not
the
knowing,
booking.
not knowing how to book him, what to do with him. I don't really have anything to say about this match because I don't care about Jack Perry. I'm really like soured on Jungle Boy.
Yeah. No, my issue with this match, and I put it on our Discord, right? For those of you who are on the Discord channel, Sanada is the world champion in New Japan, right? And like I know Sanada is not as big of a name, compared to the rest that we know, right?
Right.
But this fucker beat Okada to be IWGP World Champion. So
Right.
clearly, New Japan is pushing him to be the next top star, right? Because he's always like made his way towards the main event. Finally get his shine.
So you're saying this is a bit disrespectful, lah? Jungle Boy is not on his level, lah.
Yes, that's the point I'm trying to make, because like last year, right? It was like Okada had a match, fatal 4-way against, like, remember Adam Cole? That was the match where he got injured. But and Jay White, Jay White was a champion at that point in time. But the point is, right, that was legitimate, like, freaking like top guys that AEW bothered to send to fight him. That's why I said, when I was watching the Buddy Matthews and Andrade match, I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck can't Andrade be in this spot, fight against Sanada? It would have been like, wow, two studs fighting. Instead, we got Jungle Boy.
Because Jungle Boy is part of their clique, part of their friend.
Somebody in the Discord defended Jungle Boy, saying that, because he's just a recent main eventer, he was on the pay-per-view, so this is a good spot for him to fall back now. Then I'm like, he doesn't even deserve to be in that main event spot in the first place. So disrespectful to Sanada, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, this whole Hook thing, like, I don't know, if Hook turns on Jungle Boy maybe, or Jungle Boy turns on Hook, then that could be like the start of... I don't know where they're going with it. I don't care.
I don't care so.
Okay.
I don't care so.
This is the one we should care about, I guess. Bryan Danielson versus Okada, like, dream match,
And nothing against Bryan Danielson, but I think it's because of the recent booking. This doesn't feel as big of a deal as it should be.
Yeah, I mean, Bryan Danielson has been sort of like the background guy for the BCC. And actually, all of the BCC have sort of felt like Blair, right?
Yeah. If this was Bryan Danielson when he just debuted in AEW and he was fighting Kenny Omega, a Hangman, that winter is coming, that badass Bryan Danielson against Okada, holy crap, then our hype would be there.
Do you feel like Bryan is another one of those guys? He's too nice already. He'll just go with whoever, is suggesting things for him to do. And like, Bryan Danielson would not have become the Yes Movement guy if not for the WWE. As much as we want to credit Bryan Danielson being a great worker, he wouldn't have hit that height if not for the WWE.
The WWE machine definitely played a part in his superstar, in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah.
But the problem is, right, I've seen Bryan Danielson in Ring of Honor, right? And I know this guy can go, and I know he has the personality. But I think it's the wrong timing in his career, bro. Because I know he's a dad, right?
Yeah.
Now he's kind of like slowing down. So the things that make him feel like dangerous is no longer there.
Right. No, so I get what you are saying in that he's sort of just doing this. There's no
He's
edge.
winding down lah.
Yeah. And this goes to like who we are at different points in life, right? Like when you are younger, when you're hungry for it, you have that edge where you are, you know. And thankfully he had that when he was in the WWE. That's why he capitalized on it. So, but now he's sort of just doing, okay lah, whatever lah. I'm just here to collect the paycheck, working with my friends, having a bit of fun, So yes, I think you hit the nail on the head right there.
You know who I compare it to? I think this is a good comparison.
Who?
He's kind of like Randy Orton right now.
Yeah, sure.
Like Randy Orton 12 years ago, freaking the bald-headed killer, that 2008, 2009 Randy Orton, he was a dick, right? And then he got a lot to prove, but he was always like consecutively in world title pictures, and he felt like a big deal.
Yeah.
But now, I almost feel like Randy Orton is kind of like, we all respect him. We know he's like a veteran. He's almost kind of like cruising or like lepaking on that level, knowing that he's so good.
Yeah.
And he's not compelling per se.
Yeah, but we respect him.
Yeah.
So no,
I think that's where Daniel Bryan is.
Yeah, that's a very fair comparison. So, in terms of building this match, have they done much to build this match other than it being a dream match?
They've done promos on Dynamite, and they've of course Okada has had his own promo. Actually, there was a good promo that Brian cut where he was like training in the desert or something like that. And then he had this very cool line where he's saying that, when you step in the ring with me, you're in the desert, so you can't make it rain anymore, because I'm gonna like dry it out. So I like that.
Yeah, because Okada is the rainmaker, right? And yeah, I get it. Pun, play on words, cool.
Yeah, it's fine. But again, because they are based in Japan, like unless he fucking 1 week early come to Dynamite and do a in-ring segment, we won't care. That's the problem.
Yeah. Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship.
Okay, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, if you remembered, that was the main event of Wrestle Kingdom this year, one of the main events. And that was actually a solid match. That was actually one of the matches that I actually remembered and enjoyed from that event. And of course, Kenny Omega felt like a bigger deal in New Japan, the presentation and all that, right? But right now, I feel like it's more of Will Ospreay has a point to prove, has a chip on the shoulder that he needs to prove now that he's on Dynamite, in AEW instead. So I feel that this actually can even be better than the first match.
Okay.
Because of the fact that Will Ospreay has a lot to prove. And he really has made it clear he wants to be in a prominent position during the All-In show in Wembley Stadium. Because, bro, that is his hometown, right? Background, right?
Right.
Yeah. So he's definitely trying to create an impression, both kayfabe and in real life, in this Forbidden Door, so that he can have a good spot in at All-In. So regardless of what we think about both of them, whether this hype has no hype or not, right? I feel this is an important match that hopefully delivers in the ring at least.
Will Ospreay technically is not all elite, right? He's a New Japan guy who's just visiting.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And Kenny Omega seems to do better when it's a New Japan related storyline.
Yeah.
So I do feel intrigued by this match because he is still trying to push this match while still having his issues with the BCC,
BBC, yeah.
BBC.
Okay,
indeed.
so the real question is then, is this something that's worth $40 to you? Because ultimately, right, they're trying to sell pay-per-views. Would you pay $40? I will be upfront. I'll say no because I don't follow New Japan. So a lot of these quote-unquote dream matches don't mean anything to me, right? In terms of a $40 value. What about you?
I would only pay $40 watch it live if and only if for some reason Kenta appears and challenges CM Punk.
Right.
Battle of the GTS, bro.
Yeah, fight for the right to use GTS, is it?
Yeah, because the fucker has been talking so much shit on social media saying like, you are back, but you are avoiding me, you sucker. Like he really talking shit to freaking CM Punk. So I don't know. I hope that happens. Then I might consider because they are lacking a few more big time matches for us to get interested in.
Well, I mean, so far there are only 4 matches to talk about, which is surprising considering it's coming up very soon, right? So you have Dynamite to announce it, and that's it.
You know what's gonna happen, bros. Freaking Tonika's gonna be like, Excalibur's gonna be like, oh, this Friday Sunday at Forbidden Door, we're gonna have these matches. He's gonna vomit out the entire match card, bro.
Yeah, for no reason. Right. Just all of a sudden, all come out. Oh, okay. Okay, so that kind of wraps things out for AEW. We got Collision, we got Forbidden Door out of the way. We'll be back, of course, very soon to talk about those events. And like we talked about at the start of the show, a potential... something for you the listeners to pick up.
Indeed.
Especially if you're a big fan of AEW. And I can't wait, by the way.
I hope you guys stay tuned to the next episode as well. And since we are wrapping up on the AEW thing, I think we should mention one big thing that happened in the WWE universe this past week as well.
Yes, let's do that very quickly. So finally the Civil War, the Bloodline Civil War is underway. Finally, was it Jey or Jimmy who I always get the two mixed up.
Bro, I can't get them mixed up. They're so individualistic, stand out on their own. No, Jey is the one that turned on the Bloodline.
Yes, main event, Jey Uso finally turned on Roman Reigns and with a big super kick. So they set up a match for Money in the Bank. Reigns and Solo Sikoa versus the Usos. The pop for that super kick was massive, by the way.
It was. I was curious, bro, because it feel like such a random episode of SmackDown to do the dissolution. I wonder whether it was WWE counter programming against CM Punk and Collision. What do you think?
You think so? Like to make a big happening right before the CM Punk pop to sort of get people talking lah.
I felt it had more legs to kind of lead to that moment because it was only just last week where remember main event Jey challenged for the US title and like Paul Heyman was doing some mind game saying that he's gonna be the next tribal chief.
Yep. Maybe. Yeah, I think so. But here's the thing, right? Like you obviously had that set up for Money in the Bank, and Money in the Bank is only 1 week, so it was either last week or next week. So since you want to take away attention from CM Punk, might as well do it this week. It was gonna happen either this past week or next week anyway. So 1 week difference, I don't think it's a big deal lah.
Yeah, and it's almost funny because I think that if you're gonna do the Bloodline Dissolution Civil War in Money in the Bank, which is of course a fairly big pay-per-view, is gonna be in London as well.
Yeah.
If you pull the trigger on that early, then SummerSlam, how? What's gonna happen on SummerSlam?
I mean, look, I've said it before, bro, and I don't want to go against you. You're my bro and everything, but Jey Uso is not gonna main event SummerSlam. Come on, let's be real, bro. Let's be real. That's not gonna happen. I hope I eat my words in a few months, but it's not, bro.
Okay, say for a very weird. Okay, just say just booking early, right? Civil War happened. The Usos beat Roman Reigns. Oh, I don't even mind they lose. Then maybe they have one more rematch at SummerSlam with a bigger stipulation, like if Jey Uso wins him, he will get a title shot at Madison Square Garden, blah blah blah. I don't know, but I just feel that is it too early to have that Civil War? What are they gonna do for the rest of the summer? That's my question.
Well, I mean, we'll have to watch and find out, right? Isn't that compelling television? Isn't that what creating dramas and storylines is supposed to do? Make you think, oh, what's next?
Yeah, three years, bro. 3 years of building up to this moment, and they ended it with a super kick on a random SmackDown. I'm just saying. So,
okay, right. You would have rather they ended it with a big super kick at Money in the Bank leading into SummerSlam. I see what you mean. But I think, definitely the whole let's take away some of that CM Punk hype does play into it for sure. It couldn't have just been a regular SmackDown. Let's just put it that way, right? It just couldn't have been just shit happened. No.
Yeah, I'm just amazed at how they can still extend this storyline until now. Like this year is literally if you think about it, year 1 focusing on the dominance of the Bloodline all coming together. Yep. Year 2, of course, the Sami Zayn come into the storyline, right? And now year 3, they're talking about the ending. So I really like the trajectory of this entire feud.
And honestly, 3 years seems like a good amount, right? Like you can't possibly drag this out to a 4th year. Like this has to be the end already. Like we are getting to the end at some point. Maybe at end of the year. Maybe they pull it all the way to WrestleMania. But there's still that one last piece of the puzzle of the NYE family that everyone wants to see come back. So maybe that is the end game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel that the end game is this portion of the drama, this huge ass gigantic drama, right? Is that the Bloodline ends. But once the Bloodline ends, there's gonna be a long ass storyline of when Roman finally falls.
Correct.
When he's left alone, right?
Yeah. So that obviously has to be the way moving forward, lah. And as much as you love your Jey Uso, and I love main event Jey Uso as well, he is not going to go 1-on-1 with Roman Reigns for the main. Maybe on a SmackDown, but not at a SummerSlam.
Well, we shall see. But you know what? We are eating good, bro. This summer, WWE, AEW, we are indeed. So
just stop watching Dynamite, Ken. Already. Dynamite is your junk food, trash food, and.
Hey, if you're a fan of the Elite, please by all means go ahead and let us know. Just update us. Update us on our Discord.
Let us know what flippy shit that they're doing. So yeah, that kind of wraps things up. Like you said, we are eating good. And hopefully moving forward, we will see more of a delineation between Dynamite and Collision. I think it's going to be a CM Punk show versus the Elite show.
You know what? And if the ratings prove, I'm actually very excited to see what the ratings going to be like when they release this first one. If the ratings prove that they can outshine 1 million over freaking Dynamite, we're going to have a good... This is a true inter-brand war, bro.
Yeah, no, it'll be the real civil war, and all of a sudden things become interesting again, right?
Yes, agreed. And we shall see, because maybe Dynamite might have a good response. So we really have to see for ourselves.
maybe Collision has a great start, but just like Rampage, week on week, just tanks and tanks and tanks. We never know, right? And that's the crazy thing. So yeah, we'll have to see week after week what happens.
Where does John Moxley figure in all of this? I also interested to see because Moxley, bro, funny.
Don't put him on Collision. I heard clips from like his interview he did with his wife Renee Young, Renee Moxley, whatever. Paquette, there you go.
Paquette, yeah.
And no, I don't want to get into that whole thing, but let's wrap things up. Let's wrap things up here on this Sunday evening. We got stuff to do. So once again, a happy Father's Day to all the dads out there who are celebrating, by the way.
Yes.
We will catch you again soon on the podcast. So I feel like we won't be live for a couple of weeks because of work-related things, but we will be live soon once again. So like we always say, like head to our Discord to come chat with us, Patreon page as well. Check it out if you want to extend your support of the podcast, take us to the next level.
Yes, indeed. And of course, please subscribe to all of our YouTube, freaking TikTok. We got a TikTok, guys, and Instagram, of course, where we are where we are doing most of our shit there. Daily postings every day, bro.
Absolutely. All right. As always, it's Mr. Young.
And it's Foreign in the building. Take care.
Open.